How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Wolves, and welcome back to a brand new match preview on the channel. I hope you guys are keeping well and safe, and we are looking ahead to Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Manchester United at Molineux on Sunday afternoon. Really looking forward to the game. It's been ages since we've been back at Molineux, and now, of course, being there on Sunday and being back again on this Sunday, to be there twice in the space of a week is going to be fantastic. Live football coming thick and fast. With me being at Forest as well on Tuesday. Really enjoyable game. So looking forward to being back amongst it once again at Molineux. Guys, as always, be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let me know your thoughts ahead of the game in the comment section down below. And of course, today we're going to be looking at the match facts, my thoughts ahead of the game, my predicted lineup, and the opposition preview with Mark Goldbridge this week. So stay tuned for that one. But let's jump straight into the match facts for the game. And of course, final game of the season. Last season, Wolves did lose out 2-1 to Manchester United at Molineux. But Wolves have not lost consecutive home league games against Manchester United since December 1967. So a stat very much in Wolves' favour. And hopefully we can continue that record of not losing consecutive games against Manchester United. A bit of a downward one here though. Wolves have lost each of their last 5 Premier League games, of course including last season, scoring just 1 goal in the process. They've also lost 5 of their last 7 home games, winning the other 2, as many as they had in their previous 20 at Molineux. So hopefully we can put an end to that stat very soon. And finally, in the first 2 match days of the Premier League season, only Liverpool with 46 attempted more shots than Wolves, 42. They also had the 6th highest expected goals tally, 3.2 of the 20 teams, yet they are still looking for their first league goal under Bruno Lage. But yeah, it has been promising but frustrating at times the last couple of weeks. A very dominant second half display against Leicester, and you could argue a very dominant 90 minutes against Tottenham Hotspur. Nuno coming back to Molineux, and of course we've drawn them in the Carabao Cup as well, but coming back to Molineux, and Wolves pretty much having the front foot the whole game. But performances don't matter. At the end of the day, it's the result. And both of those on another day could have gone Wolves' way. And this one against Manchester United is going to be interesting and intriguing because they, it's been a strange start for them. They really thrived on being back at Old Trafford, smashed Leeds, but struggled a little bit last weekend against Southampton. So it will be really interesting to see how Ollie approaches the game, and if Solskjaer wants United to try and keep the ball and get at Wolves, or are they going to allow Wolves to have the ball like Leicester and like Tottenham have done. Great to get a bit of confidence and a morale boost during the week as well. A rotated Wolves team against the rotated Forest team, but we smashed them 4-0 to advance into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Great to see the likes of Daniel Podence back, who's had been on and off with injuries really, missed the end of the last season and obviously not been in pre-season for Wolves, but been chucked straight in at the deep end and put in a really great performance. Bruno Lage said he only really wanted him to have 45 minutes. In the end, he had just over 60 minutes, which was great. Willy Bolly as well is back training, possibly not quite ready to jump straight into the first team, but we'll see. He could be in the squad, possibly on the substitutes bench come Sunday. And what I'm quite intrigued about as well is next week, I believe the Wolves under-23s are in the Papa John's Trophy. A lot of Wolves players have been called up to international duty, but there are some other younger players that I would be very intrigued to see if Wolves include in that game, or possibly players like Willy Bolly to get their match sharpness up. So keep an eye on that game next week, Wolves versus Wigan, away in the Papa John's Trophy. But let's look towards my predicted 11 for this game anyway. As you can see on the screen right now, we are going to kick off with Mr. Jose Sarr in goal, as you would expect. There was John Ruddy in goal for the Carabao Cup game, but you would fully expect Jose Sarr to return for this match. My back three unchanged as well, of Romain Saiss, Conor Cody and Max Kilman. Of course, Willy Bolly being on the bench for the time being. My left wing back and right wing back, I've gone with Marcel on the left, Nelson Semedo on the right for this match. Both players Given decent performances, I thought Nelson Semedo was really decent. And Marcel has impressed us all, I think, with one, actually staying fit and staying, healthy. And two, just being a really, really solid player overall. Central midfield two, I'm going to go with Ruben Neves and João Moutinho. Again, it's been an interesting one for those two. Neves in particular, obviously lots of rumours possibly about him leaving the club this summer. It looks like he's staying put, which is great. João Moutinho was a player that I think people wouldn't have been surprised leave the club during the summer. He's still here and he's been phenomenal. But he played a big majority of that game at the weekend. During the midweek, against Forest. So does that mean possibly we see Leander Dendoncker come in? I'm not too sure. And the front three unchanged as well. I'm going to go with Adama Traore, Francisco Trincao and Raul Jimenez. I'm sure a lot of you possibly would like to see Daniel Podence in there as well. But I think he will start on the bench. But we may well see him sometime throughout the game. Trincao, great for him obviously to finally get his first goal for Wolves as well. Hopefully we see him use that and gain confidence and hopefully, get some assists and goals. Adama Traore, as of today, it may well have changed by the time this video has gone out, but looks like he's going to be staying at Wolverhampton Wanderers and hopefully he can get his head down and have a fantastic game on Sunday. Mr. Raul Jimenez, still waiting for his first competitive goal since his long-term injury, but hopefully Sunday could be the day. So the bench is filled up with lots of talent. Willy Bolly, Daniel Podence on there, Morgan Gibbs-White, Fabio Silva and co. Bench looking a lot more solid now for me. But we are going to move on now to the opposition preview. I had the absolute pleasure of speaking to Mark Goldbridge, the Manchester United fan, about United's summer, their transfers so far, and what we can expect from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side. So here I am, delighted to be joined alongside Mr. Mark Goldbridge. Mark, how you keeping, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. Thank you for coming on Talking Wolves ahead of the Wolves versus Manchester United game. Hopefully learn a bit more about Manchester United for the Wolves fans that don't know already. But it's been a crazy 12 months for United. Towards the end of last season, a little bit of negativity, obviously mainly focused towards the owners and so on. But the summer seems to have picked up slightly. What's the atmosphere like amongst United fans at the minute, Mark?
At this very moment, the reason I'm wearing a vintage Man United shirt is because I'm in an unhappy place and it's like a security blanket. I'm going back to happier times because obviously we've got all this Ronaldo stuff, but the Ronaldo stuff's very hard we'll get bantered, that's football, but the reality is that Ronaldo is a United legend and the thought of him going to Man City is horrible. And but even before that, I think, it sounds so... I don't think anybody else gets this because you've just spent £100 million on Sancho and Varane. But we really needed a holding midfielder, which is why some of our fans really want Ruben Neves. I'm not so sure about Neves. I like him, but we are trying to compete with Chelsea and Man City, and we're not ready to do that. You'll find out at the weekend. If your midfield performs well and we pick Fred and Matic, then we might be in trouble because our midfield is not great. We're called Bagel FC, basically, because we've got brilliant players all around it, but the midfield is a problem.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Neves. Obviously, there have been pretty heavy links. Nothing too concrete, really, in terms of any bids or anything like that. But, I'm sure you've spoken about him a few times on your channel. Is he someone that... Would you take him at United, or do you think United should be looking at, maybe no disrespect to Ruben Neves, but higher quality players?
On the United stand, Ruben Neves is... he's sort, like when you do these shows and you've got a community and they grab hold of a player and it's a bit off piste, so to speak. Ruben Neves is really well liked in our community. I like him. I wouldn't say he's the first choice I would go for, but the issue with United is that Ruben Neves will be better than Fred. He will be better than Matic because he's too old. He will be better than McTominay. So therefore, he is an upgrade. So therefore, you can't say I wouldn't take him because he's an upgrade. And I think he's the right sort of age. I think he's the right sort of player. I like the way he, distributes the long balls. He's good on the ball. He's good in the tackle. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to a Liverpool or a United. So, I definitely would take him. I personally don't feel it will happen because I think United take a long time to do deals. And there's just, 4 days left now?
Yeah. I mean, by the looks of some of the rumours, it could be still a crazy end to the transfer window. Hopefully for Wolves as well, because we've been desperate for them. But
you need Ronaldo. You need Ronaldo with
well,
the
I know,
Portuguese
mate,
George
yeah.
Mendes
It needs
connection.
George
Why are
Mendes.
Wolves in the race?
I know. Needs to hook us up. Look at United's results so far, though. Absolutely smashing Leeds on the opening day of the season, and then obviously dropping a couple of points at the weekend. What have both performances been like? I mean, that first one, were United really that good, or did they just take those opportunities, or a bit of both?
For me, it was a carbon copy of the game we played against Leeds before Christmas, apart from we had 75,000 fans in the ground and Leeds basically shit themselves. Like, I think a lot of teams, you were away first game of the season.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for teams at the moment to get used to being an away side because it's like tens of thousand people against you. And Leeds just, Leeds play open anyway. And I think they just absolutely drowned in the atmosphere of 75,000 people. And then Southampton, I think we sort of just reverted back to this back six negative way of playing for 45 minutes and basically got the result we deserved, which was a draw. So, yeah, inconsistent United, really. I don't know what we're going to get on Sunday.
Yeah, it's similar-ish thing to Wolves. I know you mentioned there that our opening game when we were away, and then we look at the game against Spurs, and I'm not sure if you've caught or managed to catch much of us or even caught the highlights, but the stats that we're putting out at the moment, possession and shot-wise, and even against Forest, I know that their rotated team, our rotated team, but just putting teams to the sword. And I'm not necessarily expecting it against United on Sunday, but after this, our first three fixtures were Leicester, Spurs, United, tough opening three. After this, we've got a stretch of fixtures up until about November, really winnable games. I don't know if you've managed to see, like I said, any highlights, but what have you thought maybe so far of Bruno Lage's Wolves?
I watched a lot of it is only highlights. I didn't catch the Leicester game, but the Spurs game, I was like, that's a great win for Spurs away from home. That's the sort of win that can kickstart your season after beating Man City, because it's a penalty. Traore missed a chance. They missed a few other chances. And I think on another day, Wolves could win that game. And I think Nuno knew that himself. So I think Wolves are in a very false position. I just feel United have to win this game because we dropped points against Southampton. If we want to be a title challenger, even though I don't think we will be, you've got to win this game. But it's like I said on the United stand, my head says this has got 1-1 written all over it and a tight game. But the only reason I'm going for a United win is because we have to win. And I think Ollie has a habit of getting a result in these sort of games when he needs to. But yeah, I think Wolves are a much better. I think some people. So it's funny. I was talking to Craig from Anfield Agenda a minute ago, and he was saying that we were doing a Premier League prediction, and he said I can't help thinking about Wolves being the Nuno team that just sits and parks the bus. And I said they're not. That's not what they've been doing at all. So yeah, I think Wolves will be fine, but that doesn't do you any good when you've got no points after nine, does it?
Yeah, well, exactly that. And I mean, how has Ollie been setting United up? Because you tended to be at times tried to be quite a counter-attacking team last season. This season, have you seen any difference? Is he trying to play on the front foot a little bit more, have more possession? Is that how you think he might set up at Molineux on Sunday?
I mean, against Leeds, we went for it, and that's why we did that last season. Against Southampton, we set up with a back four, no Varane. It was Lindelof and Maguire, and it was a holding midfield too of Matic and Fred. Didn't work. Second half, he made Matic hold, and Fred played further forward, which is what we're meant to be doing this season. So I mean, Varane has to start against you on Saturday. On Sunday, which makes us stronger at the back and negates the need for two holding midfielders. So I would hope we will play with one holding midfielder. I'd love to see Van der Beek play because he played against you at the end of last season and was actually really, really good. So McTominay can't play. So I'm hoping we're going to see a more expansive United side, in which case it'd be a very, very good game. But Ollie, you just don't know with Ollie. He might play Dan James up front. I just don't know what he'll do.
And I've seen news today that Scott McTominay is injured. So in that case, what sort of lineup? What's your predicted lineup for United on Sunday?
So Bidea in goal, Wan-Bissaka and Shaw will be fullbacks. He's got to play Varane and Maguire. I mean, there's no way that Lindelof should start. I think Sancho will start on the right, Pogba on the left, Bruno 10. I think it will be Greenwood with Cavani on the bench. And then the midfield, which is where the game will be won and lost. I think he'll go with Matic and Fred because McTominay's out. But I'd like to see either Fred and Van der Beek or Matic and Van der Beek. But he just doesn't use Van der Beek. So, I think it'll be Matic and Fred, which opens the game up then because, Ward-Prowse and Romu dealt with them quite well last week. So it just, it gives everyone a chance when your midfield's not as strong as it could be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Neves and Matinho, who wasn't maybe not well liked, but I think people preferred another midfield option. But Matinho's been great so far this season, and those two controlling the game. I think it really does depend how United set up. If United are going full pressure, it's going to be difficult for those two. But if they allow us to have a bit of the ball, it's going to be really interesting to see how Matinho and Neves play. And Mark, the hardest question I'm going to ask today: score prediction. I know you said maybe a 1-1, but you're going to go towards a United win.
I mean, look, I'm not. I do think Wolves are in a false position, and I think they will start winning games, and I think they'll start winning games well. But I think United have to win this. So it's never, since Ollie's been here, I think Wolves has always been a really tight game. So I'm just
going to say we've had some great games against you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always tight.
Games. Yeah. So what was that? 2-1. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1 United. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a safe bet, the 2-1. That was my favourite. I'm going to go 1-1, just to sit on the fence slightly. But if we could get a point out of those opening 3 games, I think especially against United, who on paper I'd say is that the toughest opponent, I think I'd take that. But Mark, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate that. And may the best team win on Sunday, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
No worries, mate. And after Sunday, yeah, likewise. I think you do well.
Thank you, mate. But big thanks once again to Mark. I'm sure you guys know who he is, but if you don't, I'll leave a link to his Twitter and his YouTube channel in the description down below. Really do appreciate him taking the time to come onto the channel. And like I said, in that little segment there, my score prediction for this game is Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Manchester United 1. Be great just to get a point on the board. I think a point out of those first 3, it could have been so much more for Wolves, but you'll take something out of this game just to get off and running before the international break. Guys, as always, let me know your thoughts ahead of the game on Sunday. Be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you all very, very soon.